African Americans built this nation. You built this nation. You know, you're just starting to get real credit for that. Okay, I don't know if you know that. You're just starting to get, you built the nation. We all built it, but you were such a massive part of it. Bigger than you were given credit for. Does that make sense? Right?
Evidence has surfaced and continually grown to indicate that many of these pre-Columbian explorers might have come from Africa.
You think you know your history, correct? George Washington was the first president of the United States. They taught us that since we were little kids. It's wrong. In 1781, the United States finally got the British to agree to get out of America. So as the armies are marching on the Continental Congress saying, you owe us a year's worth of pay, and the Continental Congress is running from the halls of Congress, out pops a guy named John Hanson, who happens to be mixed Oriental, black, and white. Kind of had the skin color of President Obama. So he pops out in 1781 and says, hold on, George Washington. Let me personally pay your soldiers. So he has a couple of people working for him go down in the basement, and they bring up these chests full of silver. And he paid the Continental Army off, and they were all happy, and the Continental Congress stopped running, Thomas Jefferson and the rest of them, and they came back, and they made him the first president of the United States in 1781. He set up the post office, the presidential seal, all kinds of things. Isn't it fitting in a nation of immigrants that our very first president would be Oriental, black, and white? Again, his name was John Hanson. So when you go to high school or elementary school and they tell you, the first president was George Washington, you raise your hand and say, no, it wasn't. It was a man who was black and Oriental and white named John Hanson. He was a Moor. He was a Moroccan.
George Washington was the 9th president, and all of them was Moors, and their symbol was what? Come on, Come on, keep on. Here, Well, the cherry tree. So the code is George Washington chopped the cherry tree down. That's when they switch signals.
I'm so tired of people saying, well, it was just the white people, white people, white people. No. No. Why are we intentionally leaving others out? There are black founders.
And I want you to also recognize why you're not going to find information like this in your school books. Why? Because it will liberate you. Because it puts everything back into context. And it starts to show you who's who. See this December the 1st, 1789? He's been in office about 7 months. He was appointed. He was not elected. He was appointed April the 30th of that same year. Keep in mind, this is the same year, 1789, when the Sundry Free Moors Act was before the House of Representatives.
If the Declaration of Independence was 1776, and the Constitution was 1789, and if George Washington's first term started in 1789, who was the leader of the United States for 13 years between 1776 and 1789?
Since the date of the letter which the late Congress by their president addressed your Imperial Majesty, the United States of America have thought proper to change their government and institute a new one agreeable to the Constitution, of which I have the honor herewith to enclose a copy. So you can understand the Constitution didn't come from them, did it? It was adopted by them.
So in that spirit, tonight, I thought I'd start my show a little differently. Tonight, I'm going to do something that I'm not particularly good at, but that I like to do. Tonight, I'm going to try some impressions out. This is my impression, you ready? This is my impression of the founding fathers of America when the Constitution was being written. You ready? Here it goes. Hurry up and finish that Constitution, nigger. I'm trying to get some sleep. It's not bad, right?
And now you understand what Obama was saying when he tell you that the American Constitution comes from Muslim law. I'm going to go on to Article 11 of the Treaty of Tripoli from the Treaty of Peace and Friendship that Obama read to the world and show you what he was reading and show you how it went over people's heads. And he's telling you. Your Majesty's letter of August 17, 1788. So this is 2 years before he was appointed. He's talking about correspondences that were going on. How come you ain't getting this in school? Because they don't want you to know that you're standing on Morocco.
Bashar, and he also knows that North America is known as Al-Maghreb Al-Aqsa.
Of course, I know that. North America was known as Al-Maghreb Al-Aqsa, and it reported to the Sultan of Morocco. And there was a relation. This is why I needed to ask you, what's the relation between the first, colonials and the governors of Morocco, because they communicated, because on paper it was part of Greater Morocco. That's known.
That the land is Morocco, the occupational government is the United States. Distinguished from the land, it's a foreign religious corporation belonging to the Jesuits. You're under occupation. And you're referred to as the Great Masonic Secret. And Mason means mother and son. Aset and Horus. Or what they call Isis and Horus. Or like they say in the church, Jesus and Mary, mother and son, and the study of Masonry. Masonry, that's what Masonry is. It's more science. Anyway, so the United States having unanimously appointed me the supreme executive authority in this nation, Your Majesty's letter of August the 17th, 1788, this was 2 years before the appointment, which by reason of the dissolution of the late government already exists, remain unanswered and has been delivered to me. I have also received the letters which Your Imperial Majesty has been so kind as to write in favor of the United States to the Bashars of Tunis and Tripoli, and I present to you the sincere acknowledgments and thanks of the United States for this important mark of your friendship for them. So you see that Marine song? That's one they taught from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. They conquered you. You get the point? Now you want to see why all of your leader guys must be Masons and why they got a Moorish fez in secret. Pay attention to this paragraph. The encouragement which Your Majesty has been pleased generously to give to our commerce with your dominions. Where do you think you're standing? Moorish dominions. See why they don't give you real history? Why they reconstructed the history? Reconstruction. They weren't building, they're reconstructing history. So the encouragement which Your Majesty has been pleased generously to give to our commerce with your dominions, the punctuality with which you have caused the treaty with us to be observed, and the just and generous measures taken in the case of Captain Proctor make a deep impression on the United States and confirm, pay attention, their respect for and attachment to Your Imperial Majesty. The United States is an appendage of the Moroccan Empire.